Well, then I guess we'll move on to the main
Main
course.
the
Main
main
event.
Let's talk about
squeeze.
Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Ghostbusters.
So
So,
at this
yeah.
point, we've all seen it. Chris, you've seen it twice.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it opening night. I have to say, I saw it opening night. There were literally people in my crowd. Well, actually, my entire group that was there watching it in the theater,
Hmm.
literally clapped at certain scenes.
Yeah,
Wow.
I had cheers and clapping
Yeah,
and I was there opening night.
yeah.
It was like
Wow.
the second showing, I want to say.
Yeah, I was at what, Sunday? So it was pretty empty, which was nice. It was like a huge theater and like just me.
Yeah, and then the second time I saw it was last Saturday, the Saturday after Thanksgiving,
Uh-huh.
and it was probably half of the top section full.
Hmm.
Okay.
But the first one, it was packed. The first one was packed, and that was IMAX.
Oh, you saw it in IMAX.
I
Very
did see it
nice.
in the IMAX. Personally,
How was it
wouldn't
in
do that
IMAX?
again. Not enough there for that, I don't feel.
That's fair.
But so for the first time, I'm going to give my take on something first. I enjoyed it. I went and saw it twice. If you saw the little short I made after I went and saw it the first time, I gave it like 5 out of 7 waffles or something like that. And I also said, if you're running late, don't worry. I feel you could pretty much miss the first hour and be just all right with this movie. Like you do have that scene at the very beginning with Egon,
Hmm.
which does kind of
I was gonna say that
show.
that's the setup for the entire movie. If you miss that part,
Yes,
you don't really
Yeah.
know
no,
what's
but
going on.
you could throw it away and still be fine. We'll get to what the movie really is. There's a reason why I wanted to go first because they did something.
Go for it. Do it.
And but so like yeah, I felt the big until they got the proton pack, it was Stranger Things without the suspense. But it was fine. I wish there was more Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
But that's probably just because I wish there was more Paul Rudd in every movie.
Right.
I did
so
feel like Paul Rudd was underused in the movie.
Yeah.
So the thing that I'm just gonna go. So the end of the movie. This is what we're all been waiting for. They did exactly what I didn't want them to do, even though I knew that they were gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
They brought Egon back from the dead, essentially.
They did not bring him back from the dead.
Okay, all right. They brought Harold Ramis back from the dead. It felt so dirty when they did that with Princess Leia. I was not a big fan of that at all. But this was so tasteful and so much better. I get chills thinking about it right now. That's the only reason. Like once they got the proton pack, the movie definitely became more of a Ghostbusters movie. And then so I was probably sitting at a 5, and then the tribute that they gave to Harold Ramis pushed it up 2 points for me. Like
at the very end.
Yeah, well, not just like the very end, but like the way that they handled how he didn't say a damn word. Like just the way and how he interacted with everyone, and like just the way that they did it, it was a true tribute, and it had all the emotions there and everything for me. I was very happy with how they did that.
Yeah, I can see that. I agree. I think, yeah, like you're saying, if you're going to, first off, use someone who's already passed away and into a movie, I feel like this was a way to do it, right? It's that like, hey, this is a tribute. They're, saying their goodbyes and they're leaving. It's not like, oh, hey, let's do a Leia or wow, I can't believe I forgot his name. The other one,
Well, the guy if you're talking about the guy from The Crow, like he was almost done.
Well, yeah, but like even then, right? It's just like, yeah, like you're saying, he didn't say anything, he didn't speak. you know, and I really felt it was a good tribute. But yeah, I felt all the emotions too. Like I definitely shed a few tears while I was watching it, and, you know, trying to man up and be like, nah, it's all good. Like emotions, not I mean, no, I just like I was like,
Oh
this is
yeah.
emotional.
I mean, you had the build up, you know, you
Hmm.
had, you know, you had the new characters being introduced, and
Yeah.
then right there at the end they bring in, you know, I mean, obviously spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie, you probably should
Spoiler
stop
alert.
watching this
Oh,
about
too
10
late for
minutes
that.
ago.
I did put it in the title of the video of the
Yeah.
show. So
Yeah.
That
Spoiler. Three,
scene
two,
with
one,
Finn
go.
where he's
All right.
adult, you
Yeah.
know, the throwback to that, and where you don't really, all you see is his hand and hear his voice, but you know it's Ray, you
Hmm.
know, and you know it's Dan Aykroyd, and then that scene at the end where, you know, all three of them show up. You know,
Mhm.
Bill Murray.
I have a question for that, but I'm saving that for the end.
Okay.
After you guys.
I obviously that's one of the moments in my theater where everyone was cheering and clapping.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
You know, to see, you know, the three surviving members stand up and, you know, back up the
Mhm.
kids.
Be
I
Ghostbusters.
really like the movie. As far as, you know, the cast goes, they really could have just, you know, this half of the cast over here
Mhm.
could have gone away. I believe Finn Wolfhard was in it purely because if it's in the 80s, he's supposed to be
He's
in it.
supposed to be right. Yeah.
The girlfriend, you know, I don't really feel like she was much.
Yeah.
But on the other side of the screen, you've got Paul Rudd, podcast, the daughter. I cannot remember the girl's name. She was fantastic. I mean, if you look at her, you think Spengler.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They did a good job with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you needed Finn Wolfhard to drive the car while she was doing cool stuff, science stuff, but
Yeah. I mean, they could have just swapped that and just used Paul Rudd more.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but he had to be the
Science
key
geek teacher.
master.
Yeah,
Key
the key
master.
master. Yeah.
Mom
I
was the
don't.
gatekeeper.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you, Steve. I definitely, yeah, the left side of this um screen like would have been perfect. I think the purpose, like the subplot story of the somewhat romance between him and trying to get the girl, yeah, could have easily just not
Mhm.
existed, and it would have been totally fine.
Yeah.
I was impressed with podcast. I thought he was going to annoy the hell out of me when he
Podcast
first
was
showed up.
amazing. Yeah, I like podcasts.
Oh man, when he's blowing up a little Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, I was
Yeah.
just like, no, get him.
Yeah, right. Yeah, podcast was great.
Yeah.
So what do you give it, Steve?
You know, I'll give it 4 out of 5 Slimers. I mean,
Okay.
it
All right.
wasn't quite perfect, but you know, because it didn't have Slimer in it. It had
Mhm.
Muncher, which
Mhm.
they used very well.
Mhm.
It's a movie that I'll definitely own. It'll definitely go right next to Ghostbusters 2 on my shelf.
I'll buy it.
Fill in that gap where Ghostbusters 16 never should have existed.
Yeah, right.
We're just don't even bring it up anymore.
That's I don't know what you're talking about. What happened in
That's what
2016?
That's what the
about
studio executives
2016?
are doing. They're
I
like,
don't even know what
we
happened.
didn't make a movie in 2016 called Ghostbusters.
Right. Everyone's in denial. Like, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
So, how about you, Avery? What do you give it?
I give it 4 sexy Paul Rods out of 5. Hmm.
What'd you think?
I really enjoyed it. So when I came in, it was great because the fact that it was empty, you know, I didn't have to worry about any noise, and I didn't worry about the clap. I can fully enjoy the movie as it was, and yeah, I loved everything about it. And then of course throwing in, you know, my little specialty, right, with the visuals. I think one thing that blew me away that I really enjoyed was the fact that there was a lot of practical effects involved with this, especially in the scene in the Walmart
Mhm.
scene,
I
right? With
thought you were
the
going to bring this up. Yeah.
yeah, of course. Like this is this is what I do, right? But yeah, the fact that they were using more of the practical effects, especially with the gatekeeper and the keymaster, I thought that was really cool. You know, it wasn't over the top CGI. It was just a really good blend. I love that. So I love that they went that approach. Um, the only thing I had gripe for, and I mean, this is just the way movies are these days, is again, it's the whole like shooting a beam into the sky madness. Like, Just every movie's doing that. Every action hero, it's overplayed out. But to their granted, it wasn't over the top. It was still well done. But yeah, visually, I loved it. Loved everything about it. Um, Definitely a, what do we call it? Nostalgia ride for sure. Especially
Mhm.
with especially with the marshmallow puffs. That definitely gave me flashbacks of how much I was scared of marshmallow puffs. So little demon, little small little things. They were not cute to me.
How wild! How wild! They're just like, yeah, let me get under this graham cracker and chocolate and flambe me. Like,
So,
let's
yeah,
do this. Like,
just killing
what
each
is that?
other. Yeah, just like with the biggest smile on their
Massachusetts
face.
ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, this is just insane. They're just like killing each other, and they're just so happy about it. Like,
And they
it's
didn't care. They were
no,
sacrificing
yeah,
themselves.
it's yeah.
No, that was fun. So here's my question at the end.
Hmm.
So they got the gatekeeper and they run into the house at the end. And they get there. And when they get there, the tornado starts coming down around the property.
Hmm.
And they go through their whole thing where girlfriend busts through the door and starts zapping what's her face. Oh my god, Gozer. And then like they get their butts kicked, and then the Ghostbusters show up. How
Hmm.
did they get there? Did they go through the tornado? Were they just watching all the other? Were they watching them get their asses kicked?
Yeah, they're just chilling the whole
Like,
time. They're like, let's see what these kids do, and then we'll step in.
They were driving there.
did they
took them
drive
some
through the
time.
tornado that was surrounding the area?
Well, I don't think the tornado was a barrier that kept it wasn't it was a ghost tornado. It wasn't, it wasn't a barrier. They didn't imply that it was a barrier in what I read and what I saw.
I'm not complaining. That was just the only like weird continuity thing that I noticed.
Yeah, and I get you with that. I mean, my thing was too was like, why did they even show up? And if like, because first when, and I forgot her name as well. We'll just say Spangler's granddaughter, like called and said
I want
like,
to call her Phoebe. Was it Phoebe?
I don't
I'm probably
know.
way
That's
off.
I think the character's name was Phoebe.
Yeah, it's possible, but it's like, yeah, why did they show in the first place? And then like, yeah, to Chris's point, how did they get there? They just automatically assume at this exact time like something bad was going to happen, so we need to be there already suited up. Ready to go.
So I just thought of another question. Ghostbuster Corpse. You guys, I'm sure you guys noticed that.
What was it?
Notice what?
Ghost Corps. It's the part of the, I don't know what the hell you'd call them. It's part of the production. It's the production company that came out with this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Ghost Corps. Yeah.
What's your
We getting
question
more
on
of
that?
these?
Oh yeah, definitely. I
yeah.
mean, in a day and age where movies make any amount of money, you're definitely going to get a sequel.
Yeah.
Does it have any of the originals?
I don't think it needs to have the originals, but I think they set up a storyline where we may see, the Winston Zedmore character do something at the old Ghostbusters headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was talking about I was going to fix up the caddy.
Yeah, I do believe that they've announced that they're going to be making a sequel. They don't have anything other than that because it has to be written. And is Jason Reitman going to do it, or is someone else going to do it? I think those are all questions that are going to be answered probably here in the next, couple of months.
Yeah. I mean, I would hope he would, Jason would continue on to do it. I mean, like I said, I feel he did an amazing job with this. And it's just, I don't know, I feel it's just so cool that, he's taking his father's mantle and continuing this,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's not as good as his dad.
Yeah, I mean, no, as good as the original, but hey, he did his best.
I want it to die. I want it to stop with this. This was good.
Mm-hmm.
This was an excellent ending. And I hate endings. and this ending was so good. Leave it
Yeah.
be.
It's
You
not gonna
don't
happen,
need.
Chris.
I
It's
know.
not.
I know. They like to
Sequel
just
baiting's
crap
a
all
thing.
over
Yeah,
everything.
sequel baiting's a thing these days. Like it's just if it's making money, they gotta find a way to.
It's
to
always
keep it
been a
going.
thing, though. I mean,
Yeah.
what are we on? Like Jaws 14 now?
Oh my
I
god.
mean,
Well, okay.
sequels are sequels. They're gonna happen.
Sharknado doesn't count.
Sharknado was amazing.
I haven't watched every one of them, but I've watched a lot of them, and they're great for drinking games.
They're amazing for drinking games. Yeah. And
But-
other substances, but yeah.
Just let it die. Do something new. There's
Yeah.
plenty of room out there. Create something new. Leave this stuff alone. Don't
tried to
crap all
create
over the
something new,
Ghostbusters
Chris.
name. Look,
They
it
tried
wasn't any good until the guy showed up anyways.
I disagree. I thought it was good.
I was bored. I was bored. I liked the beginning with Egon.
Mhm.
And then like, you know, you learn about the whole them getting evicted and all that stuff. And like that's whatever. But then it was just boring until she got the proton pack. And like
Yeah.
Paul Rudd podcast, you know, added some humor in there, which helped. But yeah, I the second time I went and saw it, I went to the bathroom twice in the middle. I was like, look, I know I can do this.
I mean, you know, you gotta have the character building, right? You gotta have the setting. You gotta build those up, and that's basically was the first hour was just setting the characters, right? Setting everything in motion. But you know, I definitely felt, even with that being said, you know, going to the new town, you know, 4 out of the 6 characters that are in here would have been just fine. You know, and not having to have all 6 of them in there.
And actually, it probably would have made for better character building because they could have devoted more time. Because you're right, all that crap that they were doing on the mountain and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, completely.
And the diner and everything. Also, who here knew the second they saw the spinner sign that it was going to say sinners by the end?
Sinners, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you're so clever. Ooh.
But yeah, if they would have cut out those 2 characters, probably would have been a much better movie.
Yeah. I also found it funny that someone who had failed their driving test 3 times is like the ultimate, not only is like the ultimate drifter, but just knows how to drive the shit out of an old school caddy. Like, are you kidding me? Like, those bad boys are hard. Like, come on now.
I used to drive an 87 Caprice. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Like, what? I can't even barely drive like that. Like, that's insane. Whatever, movie magic, right?
Yeah, suspension of disbelief. I mean,
yeah,
we allowed a 30-foot tall Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I mean, why not believe that this kid can drive?
That's completely different. That's magic and shit like that. Whereas the kid actually driving is actually like a skill and all of this stuff. And they've come out and said that he failed his driver's test before all of this.
Right, which they should have just took that out. Because that's what ruined. That's ruined the disbelief for me, right? It's like if you just didn't say that, I would have been perfectly fine that he was drifting driving. But the fact that he's like, oh yeah, he failed his driving test, I'm like, why would
he could have never have taken his driving test, as far as I care.
Yeah, I would have never even thought twice about the fact that this kid is driving like a professional.
I want to know what kind of kid can work on a car like that and not be able to pass a driving test.
That too, because he was a hell of a mechanical engineer. And I'm like, who taught you that?
Well, now I mean, to be fair, Egon did help him with the wire.
True.
Yeah.
But still, he like at the very beginning, the mom's car died when they're heading out there, and he's the one under the hood.
Yeah.
Like, yep, this is life.
Yeah. It was never explained like how he learned that. Like, I'm kind of curious. I'm like, how did you
because Egon's grandpa.
Oh right, yeah. They all have their own.
That's why she's a scientist and all this stuff. Like, it just naturally gifted.
And the mom just decided, like, got skipped pretty much.
Oh, yeah. I won't talk about it. I didn't like how they talked to their mom.
Ooh.
And she just took it.
Yeah.
I felt she was underused.
I agree.
Yeah.
So is that it? Is that all we've got to say about this?
That's all I've got to say about it. I mean, it's a fantastic movie. I think everyone should go out and see it.
Definitely.
You know, it's an enjoyable, nostalgic trip down back to the 80s.
Yes.
In present day.
I would recommend this movie to anyone who thoroughly enjoyed the original ones and would like to see a proper send off from these guys finally for Harold Ramis. This was owed to him years ago.
Yeah.
And
on
I'm
top
glad they
of that,
did it this time.
And on top of that, as far as like being a good movie, like I actually had someone with me who's never seen the original and just like is not really big into sci-fi, but loved it. Like loved the movie. So good. It's like I said, what I say, 4 sexy Paul Rods out of 5. I stand by that.
I like it.